In the mountains of northern China, a dragon of stone and earth winds its way across an impossible landscape. For over 2 millennia, the Great Wall has stood as humanity's most ambitious architectural achievement, a testament to dreams, desperation, and the price of protection. What we call the Great Wall is not a single structure, but a complex system of walls, fortifications, and barriers built over centuries. The wall we see today represents the dreams and nightmares of dynasties, the backbreaking labor of millions, and a civilization's desperate attempt to hold back the tide of history. The Great Wall, as we know it, is largely a Ming dynasty creation, built between the 14th and 17th centuries. But the story begins much earlier, in the 7th century BCE, when the warring states of ancient China first began building walls to protect their territories, not from foreign invaders, but from each other. These early walls were made of rammed earth, stones, and wood. They were crude by later standards, but they established a principle that would define Chinese defensive strategy for centuries: the wall as the ultimate expression of imperial power. In 221 BCE, Emperor Qin Shi Huang unified China's warring states under his rule. But unification brought new challenges. To the north, nomadic tribes, the Xiongnu, posed a constant threat to his newly formed empire. Qin Shi Huang made a crucial decision: rather than build new walls, he would connect and extend the existing northern walls into a single, continuous barrier. This was the birth of what we now call the Great Wall. The Qin Wall was built primarily of rammed earth and local stone. Archaeological evidence suggests it stretched over 3,000 miles, though much of it has been lost to time and weather. What survived was the idea, the notion that China could be protected by a single, magnificent barrier. The Great Wall we see today is largely the work of the Ming dynasty, who ruled China from 1368 to 1644. Facing renewed threats from Mongol tribes, the Ming emperors embarked on the most ambitious construction project in human history. The Ming Wall was revolutionary in its sophistication. Unlike earlier walls, it was built primarily of brick and stone, with an intricate system of watchtowers, garrison fortresses, and beacon towers that could communicate across vast distances using smoke signals and fire. Each watchtower was a small fortress, designed to house soldiers and store weapons. The towers were spaced about 2 arrow shots apart, ensuring that defenders could provide overlapping fields of fire against any attack. The Ming Wall required an estimated 400 million bricks. Each brick was fired in kilns built specifically for the project, then transported by hand to construction sites that were often days' journey away. The Ming Wall stretched over 5,500 miles, from Shenhaiguan in the east to Jiayuguan in the west. It incorporated natural barriers like rivers and mountain ridges, creating a defensive system that was both militarily effective and aesthetically stunning. The Great Wall's construction exacted a terrible human price. Historians estimate that over 1 million people died building the various walls throughout Chinese history. The wall became known as the longest cemetery on Earth. The labor force included soldiers, peasants, and prisoners. Conditions were brutal: workers faced extreme weather, inadequate food, and constant danger. Many were buried where they fell, their bodies becoming part of the wall they died building. Archaeological excavations have uncovered the personal effects of these workers: simple tools, fragments of clothing, and sometimes human remains. Each artifact tells a story of individual sacrifice in service of an imperial dream. In villages along the wall's route, oral traditions preserve the memory of those who built it. Stories passed down through generations speak of the pride, fear, and determination of ordinary people caught up in an extraordinary project. One of the most persistent myths about the Great Wall is that it's the only man-made structure visible from space. This claim, repeated in textbooks and tourist guides, is simply not true. From the International Space Station, you can see many human-made structures, cities, highways, airports. The Great Wall is actually very difficult to see without aid. It's narrow, and its color blends with the surrounding landscape. The myth probably persists because we want to believe something so monumental would be visible from space. Using satellite imagery and advanced sensors, we can map the wall's entire route. What we've discovered is that the wall is even more complex than we realized. There are multiple wall systems, some running parallel to each other, creating a defensive network rather than a single barrier. Much of the wall remains unexplored and unmapped. In remote desert regions, sections built of packed earth and local stone are slowly being reclaimed by nature. These forgotten stretches remind us that the wall was never just one structure, but a constantly evolving system. The Great Wall was designed to keep invaders out, but history reveals a more complex story. The wall's effectiveness as a military barrier was limited by the same factors that made it impressive. Its enormous size made it impossible to defend every section simultaneously. The wall was less a barrier than a speed bump. It could delay attacking forces, funnel them into killing zones, and provide early warning of invasions. But it couldn't stop a determined, well-organized enemy. The Mongols breached it repeatedly, and the Manchus eventually conquered China despite the wall's presence. During World War II, the wall became a symbol of Chinese resistance against Japanese occupation. Chinese forces used the wall's fortifications in their guerrilla campaign, turning the ancient barrier into a modern battlefield. The wall took on new meaning during the war with Japan. It became a symbol of Chinese determination to resist foreign invasion. The Communist Party, in particular, used the wall as a metaphor for the resilience of the Chinese people. Today, the Great Wall faces new challenges. Mass tourism brings revenue and awareness, but also threatens the structure's integrity. Millions of visitors each year wear down stones that have survived for centuries. We're caught between preservation and access. The wall is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but it's also a living monument that belongs to all humanity. We need to find ways to protect it while allowing people to experience its power. Restoration efforts attempt to balance historical accuracy with structural stability. Traditional building techniques are being revived, and new technologies help identify sections most in need of repair. Not all of the wall has been restored. These wild wall sections, crumbling and overgrown, offer a different perspective on the structure's history. They remind us that the wall is not immortal, it requires constant care to survive. The Great Wall has inspired both admiration and imitation throughout history. From Hadrian's Wall in Britain to the Berlin Wall, humans have repeatedly turned to barriers as solutions to complex problems. Walls represent a particular mindset, the belief that physical barriers can solve political problems. The Great Wall's mixed success as a defensive structure should serve as a lesson. Walls can provide temporary security, but they cannot address the underlying causes of conflict. In the 21st century, walls continue to be built around the world. The Great Wall's legacy raises important questions about the effectiveness and morality of using physical barriers to address human challenges. For students around the world, the Great Wall serves as a case study in human ambition, engineering achievement, and the complex relationship between security and openness. Today, the Great Wall serves purposes its builders never imagined. It's a venue for international sporting events, a backdrop for cultural exchanges, and a symbol of China's long history and rapid modernization. The Great Wall has become more than a historical monument, it's a symbol of human determination, a testament to what can be achieved when people work together toward a common goal, regardless of the cost. We're racing against time to document and preserve the wall before more sections are lost. Each section tells a different story about the people who built it, the times they lived in, and the challenges they faced. In remote mountains, far from tourist crowds, the wall maintains its ancient silence. Here, the structure reveals its true character, not as a tourist attraction, but as a meditation on human ambition and the passage of time. The Great Wall of China stands as humanity's most ambitious attempt to hold back the forces of change. Built over centuries by millions of hands, it represents both the heights of human achievement and the depths of human cost. The wall teaches us that great achievements require great sacrifices. It reminds us that empires rise and fall, but the human spirit endures. The wall is not just China's heritage, It belongs to all humanity. Today, as we face new challenges that require global cooperation, the Great Wall serves as both inspiration and warning. It shows us what humans can accomplish when united by a common purpose, but it also reminds us that the greatest walls are often the ones we build in our minds. The Great Wall of China, fortress of dreams in stone, monument to human ambition, an eternal reminder that the most powerful walls are not those that divide us, but those that connect us to our shared humanity.
Thanks for watching.